Hey guys, so real quick rundown of today's tech news. AT&T finally announced that it plans to roll out gigabit fiber, at least in one state, that is North Carolina. Now this is certainly due to the fact that Google Fiber recently announced that they would be moving to expand their Google Fiber gigabit internet service into certain cities in North Carolina, and the exact cities that AT&T and Google will be bringing fiber to. I will post the link to the article in the description so you can look that up and see, if you live in North Carolina, if it is one of your cities. So it's good to see that Google is kind of accomplishing the mission that we always thought that it was trying to accomplish, and that wasn't necessarily to take over the broadband market, but more Google is in the search and advertising business, so they need people to have access, fast access to Google's services, whether it's YouTube, Google Drive, or just Google.com. So it seemed to us that, everyone paying attention, that Google's plan was to just bring in just enough competition that AT&T and Comcast and the other big providers would have to respond with, similar service. So it's good to see that competition can actually work and, force lower prices and better quality and better speed. So yeah, I'm excited about that. It's good to see something actually going in our favor, regarding the big carriers. The news, just to touch on it again, about Time Warner Cable and Comcast possibly merging, more than likely merging, as they've both spent millions of dollars lobbying Congress and the various FCC and other oversight committees and what have you. But they've spent tons of money lobbying, so the chances are, if you follow politics, you know how this works. It's going to get passed. They're going to be able to merge, and that's going to reduce, competition. What little competition we had, even though they didn't directly compete with each other, at least there was the possibility, the potential for competition. So yeah, I've kind of rambled on about this for too long. So on to the next topic. So T-Mobile announced today that they will be lowering the price of their LTE 4G tablets to be more competitive with their Wi-Fi only editions, and that is pretty cool because a lot of people, they may occasionally want to take their tablet away from the house, but they don't necessarily know that they're going to have it with them all the time, so they don't want to spend the extra money. So this really just kind of frees them from never being able to leave their house. And to make that even more enticing, they'll give their existing customers 1.2 gigabytes of data free, when you buy a tablet from them. So I think that's pretty cool. It's nice to see them kind of being innovative as far as the different pricing and subscription models go, and the the uncarrier thing that they do. And before y'all lose y'all shit, I realize that you still have to buy the phone and you're still on a contract for the phone, but I would much rather be able to have a phone and just pay for the phone flat, $400 or $500, whatever it is, and then not have to sign a contract with the carrier. I think that's pretty cool. At least mentally it feels better. So I think that's kind of innovative, and it's nice to see that now they're kind of forcing AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, the other big carriers, to kind of follow suit and lower their prices and be more competitive, kind of in the same way we're seeing Google make AT&T more competitive in the landline fiber area. So it's good to see that there is still a little bit of competition, that we're not completely stuck with monopolies and oligopolies, because that's certainly the direction we've been going for a long time. It's nice to see a little bit of pushback, even though we still have a long way to go. So yeah. And the final piece of news regarding technology and science that I have for you today is NASA just released over 1,000 documents of code, different programs, different software, databases, to the public, allowing people free access to all this various suite of software that NASA's been using for years. I mean, there's some great stuff in there. You've got different, CAD, that's computer assisted drawing programs, you've got different things, you know, for the space shuttle, you've got various navigation software, and basically they just released this so that tinkers could get in there, mess around, improve it, use it for some of their own designs. You know, it's stuff that I guess NASA either isn't using anymore or doesn't feel that, you know, it needs to keep it secret. And I really like the direction and the message that this sends. You know, I'm sure a lot of people will be able to do pretty cool things with it, but I just like the idea of, well, our tax dollars went to NASA, so it's only right that NASA, you know, kind of makes it public and lets the public know that they're getting something, they're contributing back to the taxpayers. So yeah, I'm a huge supporter of NASA. I live just a few blocks from Johnson Space Center outside of Houston. So I really think that this is just a great PR move for them, you know, so it doesn't matter to me if they release this or not. I think that we should give NASA way more funding than we do now. I just read that they get, for every $2 in taxes we pay, they get a penny. So they get half of 1% of the annual federal budget, which is a crime when we spend $600 billion on a plane that doesn't even work, you know, for the military. But don't want to get too political right now. But the idea is that I think NASA really did this because they want to give back, you know, to the people that are funding them, that's the taxpayers. And it is really good PR, like I said. And hopefully this will give them a little bit of bargaining power when they're asking for more funding. Maybe we can get that, you know, that percentage up a little bit and spend a little less on the wars and, you know, go into the oil subsidies and different things like that. It'd be nice to, you know, give more money to NASA. One, it would create jobs in this area, which is always good. You know, you can never have enough jobs, obviously. But more importantly than just creating a few engineering jobs, it would really, you know, help NASA compete with the Russians and China and the various other, you know, space organizations around the world. We're really falling behind, and people kind of have this nostalgia when they think about NASA and like, oh, well, we've got this thing locked down. Don't even worry about it. You know, they're brilliant over at NASA. They don't need any money. They'll figure it out. They'll, you know, recycle something and they'll beat the Russians, which is, you know, it's good morale booster to think that way, but it does take real money, you know, and a real vision for the future and the different discoveries that we can, you know, have from funding NASA, whether it's we find a new material on Mars that's going to help us build better cars, or find a new element that helps us cure cancer. I mean, it could be a million different things, or, you know, different reasons for wanting to fund NASA, and the reasons, you know, don't have to be as selfish as, oh, I'm going to get something out of it. It could just be purely exploration. You know, you find it interesting, it's academic, and that's kind of where I fall. You know, I just find it fascinating, all the different, you know, just everything that they do. You know, I've been to NASA several times, just taking the tour, and, you know, enjoyed it. I've got a video. I'll post a link to that. Recently saw their new mission control that they're going to use for the mission to Mars. So that was pretty cool. But anyways, not to go off on too big of a tangent, but yeah, this is pretty cool of NASA to do that, and I'll try to post a link to where you can download those files. If you do any programming or whatever, you take a look at that and tinker with it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.